I bow to all the seekers of truth. The idea about truth is sometimes a misconception. Truth is what it is and will be the truth. We cannot change it. We cannot organize it. We cannot work it out. It remains what it is. And the greatest truth is that we all have become human beings to become the spirit. We are still not in that stage. That's why there are problems around us. Once you become the truth, it being the absolute, you reach the state of absoluteness. Then there is no difference of ideologies, no differences of nation. All nations, one knows, are created by God Almighty. Just He created variety to give a beautiful world to us. Variety always gives beauty. That's why this variety was created, just to make the world very interesting, but not for fighting or for quarreling or for believing that this part belongs to us and that part belongs to somebody else. The human problem, as I have studied, is very simple. Is to be understood in a detached way. Now here you can see the beautiful machinery that is working within ourselves. If you see on the left hand side, we have, somebody should come and show, blue colored line. And the right hand side you see a yellow line. In the center you see a white channel. These are our autonomous nervous systems, 3 channels, left and right sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. When I talk of medical science, people get quite surprised. But it has something to do to understand what are we inside ourselves. Now this parasympathetic nervous system is the system that gives us balance. For example, if I am running fast, my heart will start thumping. But it comes to normal through parasympathetic nervous system. And medical science doesn't know much about the parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually in the center. These chakras are around the parasympathetic nervous system, and like my fingers here, this is the chakra in the center here, and this is the left sympathetic and this is the right sympathetic, and they both put together make this center to form the parasympathetic. Simple as that. Now what happens with human beings? That they have a capacity, they have a freedom also, to go to the left or to the right. They can be very emotional people. They can go to the emotional side to such an extent that they can become fanatics. They can go further with it, so that the left side, which represents our subconscious, then the collective subconscious can be entered into. So they can enter into collective subconscious also. Subconscious also has 3-4 layers. That is, we can say the present subconscious, the past subconscious, and subconscious of ages. Then the collective subconscious, where all that is dead exists in that area. Now when you move too much on that side, you get attacked by that side. And that side has got all that is dead, which attacks you, which triggers. On the right hand side, we have got another channel of the right sympathetic nervous system. This channel represents our activity and our future. So when you are overactive, you're working very hard, you are futuristic, all the time thinking about the future, you start moving towards the right side. To such an extent that you can enter into your collective supraconscious also. In the same way, you have got your present supraconscious and also collective supraconscious. Now, human beings have a capacity that they can move to the left and to the right with their attention. They can project their attention to the left or to the right, or they can be moderate in the center. So when people talked of religion, I mean the real people who came on this earth, they talked of religion. They talked about our valency, that's a human valency, is of 10 number. And that's why they talked of 10 commandments. Or in every religion they talked about it, that we have to keep this balance. When we go out of this balance, then we either move to the left or to the right. But if you see the history of religions, it is just the opposite. That all these religions have created conditionings within us. A kind of a fanaticism, a kind of a blind faith, which was never the purpose of establishing your valencies within yourself. The movement to the right is also another problem of the modern times. When we move to the right, we actually start becoming very egoistical. The activity that we form, the activity that we perform creates a balloon-like structure on our head, as you see, crossing over here as ego, that yellow stuff. On the left-hand side, when we are conditioned very much, we get another balloon which we call as superego. Jung also missed the point because he described that there are layers horizontally placed within ourselves. It is not so. God is a great constructor and a manager. For example, you have put a road for me here. I don't have to pass through different rows. In the same way, he placed everything in a vertical way, and the road to realization is kept free within us. The road to realization is straightforward, which you see is shown in the white color, is the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, those people who move to the left or to the right develop diseases. For example, I'll show you here. Now, supposing I move one finger too much here. Then I'm cut off with the main. This side is cut off with the main, this side is cut off with the main. Then what happens? That there is no control. And the cells become malignant on their own. They start overpowering others. And that's how they start destroying other cells. We say cancer has been established. It's a very simple thing, is to bring them back again and put them in contact with the divine and bring them to the mains. Secondly, people have these days diseases like diabetes. Very common. Diabetes is a very common disease. Now in Indian villages, the villagers, when they take tea, they say that we must take so much sugar that the spoon must stand in the sugar. And they drink such a lot of sugar, they never have diabetes. Never. They have never known diabetes. What is the cause of diabetes or liver trouble, or we can say other troubles like blood cancer? It's a very simple thing that we do, is the imbalance within us. As you see the yellow center we call as Swadhisthana, which looks after the aortic plexus in our body on the physical level. This center has a very special work to do. That is to convert the fat cells for the use of the brain. So it converts the fat cells for the use of the brain. If people are very futuristic, all the time thinking, then this poor center or chakra has one work, is to convert cells after cells for the use of the brain. Brain starts growing. But what about the other functions it has to do? It has to look after the liver, it has to look after the pancreas, it has to look after the spleen, it has to look after part of the intestines and also the kidneys. When we start thinking too much, we give too much work to this one center, all these viscerals are neglected and you may develop any one of these troubles. But when it comes to spleen, it is even worse. When it comes to spleen, these days the life is so hectic. First of all, we get up in the morning. First thing we do is to read the newspaper. That's the horrid thing to do. Coming out of very nice sleep, you suddenly read the newspaper and so many are bombed, so many are killed, so many are harassed. Oh God. You get a shock. The system gets a shock. Now, when the system gets a shock, the spleen has to produce more red blood corpuscles. It has to work very hard. Then you suddenly discover you have to go to your work, so you get out of your bed and rush here and there, brush your teeth on your way and carry your breakfast. Maybe your wife is running after you with the breakfast, you have no time for anything. Such a hectic life you lead. Extremely hectic. Then you get into the car, you find there's a jam, finished. We don't understand how much we are shocking ourselves all the time. We are on a war path with the watch. All the time struggling for time. This spleen doesn't understand the person. There's no rhythm in the life of that person. The spleen thinks, what am I to do now? Suddenly this person needs the red blood corpuscles and it doesn't need, then suddenly it needs it. It becomes hectic. When it becomes hectic, it becomes vulnerable for blood cancer. And then if a person gets any shock or goes to the left side in an emotional way, he gets blood cancer. Even the mothers who are like this, very hectic, disciplining their children, keep the carpet clean. Walk this way. First put your right foot, then left foot. Don't walk that way. The child, when she's pregnant, can get blood cancer. We must understand we are delicately made, beautiful flowers of God. We are human beings. And the time has come for us to become now the fruits. This is the blossom time. But we shock our system with so many things. For what have we achieved? All these things work out on our sweet, beautiful system that we have. We are fighting all the time with each other for what? This is what takes us to the extremes, and these extremes are responsible for giving us all these problems. Now, with the Kundalini awakening, when she rises, passes through those centers, first of all she puts them like a slot, they all come back. Fall in lines. She awakens them, gives them energy, the energy flows out, cures cancer, cures this, cures that, cures that. Then it passes through your Agya Chakra here, where you forgive everyone. You just forgive. And this Kundalini awakening, then kept up well, makes you grow spiritually. And the spiritual growth in a person is what we want today. Of course, no diseases, no physical problems, no mental problems. Many mad people have been cured. The schizophrenia has been cured with Sahaja Yoga. It's all because our spirit has not come into our attention. Spirit is the light, but the light we see here is jarring sometimes, has nothing in it. The light of the spirit has love. This beautiful love about which we have heard about, which is all pervading, is all over, and you just feel absolutely sure of yourself, as if you are entered into the beautiful hall of God's kingdom, where you are secured, you are respected, you are loved, you are looked after. It's a fact. But we have to enter there and we have to receive that blessing.